Alright guys, I just woke up. It's like 4:11. I need to call Daniel to make sure he's up for work, but I woke up like, what the heck did I do? I miss my husband. But it's okay. Just 10 more weeks. But yeah guys, I'll try to record as I go.
This is the monthly tree.
Hi.
No, this is
Cheryl. On the way to the airport. Can't hold on.
Make sure you have all of your belongings and
I'm
watch your
stretching.
step.
Alright, so I just wanted to make a video real quick because Daniel told me to make a bunch of videos, but we're here at the airport. It's 2:56. We're supposed to be leaving like at around, or 3:18 is boarding time. But yeah, so it's been good. Nothing much going on. It's just, you know, this morning we went to MEBS. We did a mini physical. And then, you know, we waited for doing our paperwork, and then we did our paperwork, then we swore in, and then we had a transportation debriefing. It's just they put you in a room, and they tell you, you know, don't get lost, here's where you're going, all that stuff. And so then that's when we actually found out what time we were leaving. And so now we're just here at the airport, I ate Subway, and that lady was trying to make me buy, like, extra food. She looked at the check, and she goes, you can spend $23. I was like, yeah, but I can't eat $23 worth of Subway food because that's like, what, one sandwich and then a bunch of chips and cookies. Like, I ain't trying to eat chips and cookies. And she's holding up the line, and I was just like, oh my God. Downfall, I can't poop. I've been trying, just not comfortable using the restroom here, and I know this would be the most comfortable place because of the reception. I ain't going to do it, but we'll see. So anyway, so it's been a good. I miss Daniel. I miss Daniel, and I love you, but I know I'll see you again soon. It'll be worth it. I'm going to take you places big. Wherever you want to go. You want to go to Barcelona? Go to Barcelona. Alright. I'm excited. So, and nervous. I haven't worked out. Anyway. Alright. Bye. So we have been dismissed for the day. It is 8:16 and I wanted to show y'all my feet. So we got our boots today and it sucks, and I feel like my legs look very chubby, but I think that's partly because they're so swollen. And so I took them off not too long ago because I took a shower, but then we had to go back out there. But then we were only out there for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then came back in. So I can take them off again, but they're just bruising. And these boots look so cool, but I mean, they're so painful. And this is my bunk. These things are so painful. Can't get more. Okay, now watch. Look at my foot. And this is, I've only been wearing them for like 30 minutes. But yeah. Still a very cool experience. And this is what's issued to you. And we had to carry all of this stuff, and it's huge. There's my camelback. I'm hoping you'll see this video because it's supposed to upload because you said it was, but I love you, babe. And I'll see you in 10 weeks in the name of Jesus. And have fun with Mouse. and just do everything you said you were going to do. You need to talk to your advisor if you haven't done that. You need to go to school. But I love you, Daniel. I'm going to miss you. You mean the world to me. Thank you for everything.
I'm just thinking.
What's up? So the last that y'all seen in that clip was probably like May 24th or something like that. It was during reception when I first got to basic, and I have graduated basic training. Yay! That was my first week of reception. That's the first thing you do at basic training. You find out your graduation date from basic training. You put in all your information, like if you have a spouse, you put in all their stuff, or your dependents. You choose insurance. Like there's just, it's paperwork, basically is what you're doing. It's paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. And there's going to be a lot of waiting, so be ready for that. Can't have your cell phone, but don't be dumb. Like I said, you can call your family, which I did. I would call my family and like Daniel and stuff at night when we were released for the day. You'll have fire guard, so that means that from like, I think fire guard at reception was probably like 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours, and you're just on the phone. You're cleaning, and you're just making sure that everything's good. And fire guard also happens when you go to your company. So when you're at reception, you will find out what company you're going to. I went to Fort Jackson. My company, or my battalion, was 360th Charlie Company. And so the experience that I had at basic can vary from everybody else's like basic training, because it's different based on where you're at. So I was Charlie Company, but someone who was in Delta Company, they could have like, and they actually did, because I had battles here at AIT who were in 360th, but in Delta and in Alpha, and their experience was way different from mine. So just keep that in mind when I'm going over all this. But anyway, so you find out where you're going at reception, and then you're there for, I think we were there for like 4 days. And then on that last day that you're there, that they're going to ship you off to basic training, they give you a patch on your shoulder. It's a little circle patch like this. That patch indicates what platoon that you're in. So then they come and they pick you up for basic training. This is like actually when basic training starts, because during reception, you're not doing PT or anything. You're just, like I said, kind of getting introduced to the Army. They teach you a little bit about marching and, you know, stuff like that. It's a lot of waiting. But anyway, oh, you get issued your stuff too. So it's your first 72 hours, and this is going to be where the most screaming is. And this is when you're going to be introduced to your drill sergeants. You're going to learn what company, like about your company. You're going to learn who your battle buddies are for the next 10 weeks. And these are the people that you will be like attached to, especially the people in your platoon. I've known some people who had friends outside of their platoon, but like usually the people that you're really close to are in your platoon, just because y'all do everything together. And so, you know, you're on the bus, they yell, get off the bus, you're running with your bag, shark attack, you know, bag over your head, boom, bang, all that stuff. But so, yeah. And so that first 72 is going to be the hardest, because you are like, actually, they're waking you up at hours that you're not used to being woken up at. And then, you know, they have the whole blowhorn. They wake you up in the morning with that, but that doesn't last forever. Like, it's just the beginning. So my fort, the company I was in, we didn't have shower curtains. Don't worry about it. I know it seems really weird at first, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to shower in front of all these people, I'm gonna be naked, but it's not a big deal. I promise. Like, I'm one of those people. I don't show people my body. Like, I don't even wear bikinis. But so it was like, you know, but I mean, you just get used to it. Literally everyone is naked, so it doesn't feel like you're naked. And don't be worried about it is what I'm saying. Like, because I know that used to worry me. Just don't be worried about it. You won't even notice it. Oh, and then I mentioned in that clip that I couldn't poop. And it's like, that's also one of the things you get used to, you know, in your bay, you have the latrines, and you go to the latrine and you poop. Like, it's not a big deal. That was a side note. Anyway, so that's your first 72 hours. You got 3 phases in basic training. You have red phase, white phase, and blue phase. As each phase goes along, it's supposed to get easier. Like the way your drill sergeants are treated, they start to treat you a little bit more like humans. In my case, and you start to get smoked less. So smoked is when somebody does something wrong and everyone has to like do a workout. And so you're going to get smoked. And smoking can last like, you know, a minute, or it can last 2 hours. Depends on the drill sergeant and what you did. So, but it's really not that bad. It really isn't. It's not that bad. And so anyway, yeah, so that's what you got, your 3 phases. Each phase, at the end of each phase, you have graduation requirements for that certain phase. So like red phase, you had to, we did the gas chamber in red phase. We did our field exercise, which is a ruck, and then you stay one night like outside, and then, yeah. And so every single phase has a ruck and a field exercise. So just be aware of that. And every single phase has a PT test. Actually, when you first get to basic training, that like first full week you're there, you're going to take a diag, all these tests are really diags or diagnostic until your blue phase, when you have to absolutely have to pass your PT test. But that very first one is really just to see okay, where is this, they call you trainees. Where is this training at? And so I failed my first diag because, yeah, I mean, I think I got 7 push-ups, 45 sit-ups, and my 2 mile time was so it was 20 minutes or 21 minutes or something like that. But yeah, so then you get to red phase, you take your PT test. You also have end of red phase testing, which is where you go over, you have your ranks, you have your army song, all that stuff. You also go over left face, right face, which is facing movements. I was what? I don't know what you call it. And then marching. About face. It's your marching. Yeah, it's marching stuff. And then the gas chamber is also in red phase. It's not as bad as it sounds. I'm just going over major things that you do at basic, and the gas chamber is one of those. I had no problem with the gas chamber, surprisingly. I was terrified of this thing. I was praying, Jesus help me. I don't want to die. So main tip when it comes to the gas chamber, and I have this on my tips section, is don't go in there they're gonna make you do some little workouts and stuff like that, and you're gonna feel it prickly here, because the more you sweat, the more that chemical reacts to you. So they're trying to make you sweat because they want you to feel it. So you're gonna feel it's a little it's a prickly, it's kind of an allergic reaction, And then you're gonna be jumping in there, and they're gonna be making you say stuff. And then I thought I was at the front of the line, but they turned that bad boy around, and it turns out I was literally the last person in line, so that means I had to be in there the longest. But they're going to tell you to take your mask off. Don't do this. I have nothing to act like a mask. Don't take your mask off and then go, why would you do that? Don't do that. Okay, so just remain calm. You have to tell yourself, remain calm. So when you take your mask off, take it off and just breathe normal. Don't breathe just, and it'll be fine, because the deeper you're breathing, the more that stuff is getting into your lungs, and that's what's gonna make it you're gonna be coughing and stuff. So you're gonna cough, and then you're holding on to your battles, and then you're gonna be out. Don't try your best not to blink really hard either, because like I said, the more you're blinking, the more it's gonna burn. I got out of the gas chamber, and I was for a little and that was it, because I didn't breathe big gulps of air. But there was males there that, I say males because I saw a male, and he took his mask off and said, and then he was, because it's scary when you see people. But then when I took mine off for a whole second, I was I don't feel anything. You will feel it, and it'll burn a little, but if you breathe, keep your breathing in control, try not to cough and blink, it won't be as bad. And that's mainly what you're going to be doing in red phase. And you're going to be doing a lot of for my case, it was a lot of running. It's different now because they have the ACFT. I took the APFT, which is the sit-ups, push-ups, and 2 mile. Push-up, sit-ups, and 2 mile. And then now the ACFT is a bunch of different events. So that part is different, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to make you run. So we mainly did a ton of running. And then you switch over to white phase. So it's supposed to get a little easier, drill circumstance, mean, and stuff like that. White phase, we were introduced to our weapon. So getting used to firing and cleaning a weapon and stuff like that, and shooting. And if you're scared of weapons, you don't have to be, you'll get used to it. You carry this thing with you all the time. If you don't have your weapon with you, you're going to get in trouble. So carry it with you everywhere you go. And you'll get used to it. It won't be so scary when you're done. And then you finish, obviously, another PT test. And then you will take your field training, which is the hammer. This one is 7 miles. You up the weight. I think it was like 30 or 35 pounds. And yeah, we did our hammer along with our qualifications. So that was like pretty stressful, but it was fine. So you'll do your field training, which is the hammer. So for each field training, the distance that you're walking or rucking is longer. The time that you're staying outside, like overnight in the field, is longer, and the weight you're adding is more. So that's the hammer. And then there is also a white phase PT test. I mean, not PT test. There's a white phase test, like a paper test. And that will have mainly land navigation on it, and which is also what you're going to be doing on the hammer. And then you switch over to blue phase. So blue phase, honestly, I don't even remember blue phase. The main thing that I remembered about blue phase is qualifying with your CCO. So the first one, you're qualifying with your iron sights. And that's what's on your weapon. And then the second time you're qualifying with the CCO, which is like a little red dot scope, basically. And then we did that. Oh, you also, I remember now. All right, you do your live buddy fire or something like that. And then you also do your grenade tossing. And so that's where you get a grenade. And then I'm pretty sure there's videos about this too. And like there's a whole little saying that they'll give you. And then you chunk the thing. And then, so that's like the practice part. And then they take you to actually throw a real grenade. Those first ones are like dummy grenades, I guess. And then the second one, you're going to be throwing a real grenade. And all these experiences are fun, but at the time they're not fun because you're stressed out because you're like, this is a graduation requirement. But then you do it and you're like, oh, it's not as bad as you think it is. And the live buddy fire, that's where you're going with the battle buddy. There will be like this setup that you have to go through, and you have to go through each of these steps. And so depending on what side, I can't remember what side, one side goes first. And so it's like you're shooting forward at what's supposed to be the enemy. And so you're like practicing, the stuff that you're learning about how to shoot. And then also about your muzzle awareness. That's a big thing, muzzle awareness. And then the big finale for blue phase is going to be, of course, your PT test. You have to pass that. Like, you have to pass your blue phase PT test, or else you will not graduate and you will not be a soldier. And if you don't pass, and everyone in your company, they're going to still keep going. Like, they're going to go to graduation. They're going to send you to this other area at Fort Jackson, and you just do PT all day. And not all day, but you're doing PT a lot. So they're trying to get you so you can pass your PT test. And if you pass it there, then they'll bring you back to your company where you can graduate with them. If not, then they're going to recycle you to the next company or the next battalion that's behind you for the graduation date. And so instead of graduating on your original date, you'll be graduating a week later or 2 weeks later, however long it takes you to pass that PT test. So for us, we took our PT test before we did the forge. The forge is the final field training ruck march that you're doing. The forge is going to be the most daunting because the first night you're going to be doing 10 miles. And then you're going to be staying for 3 nights out in the field. And this entire time you're on the forge, it's like everything that you did the past 10 weeks, this is like you putting it in action. So you're going to, like I said, it's man, like that 10 miles sucks because it's the most weight you have. You wake up, you do this at night too. The forge isn't done during the day. The rest of your anvil and your hammer are done like in the morning or, when the sun is out. When you do the forge, you're going to be doing this at night. We woke up at like 11:30 or 2300, and it was like somewhere 23:30, somewhere around there. And then we stepped off, I think like at midnight, I think. And then you're stepping off and you're walking just at night. And then you have to keep up that pace that's set. Like there's a certain pace that you have to do. It's not gonna lie to you, it's pretty tough, but it's definitely doable. For me, honestly, out of the 3 rucks, the hardest one was the hammer. So yeah, the forge. Those 10 miles are gonna suck. Like, they're gonna suck. I remember we got to our destination at 0600, so 6 in the morning. And then it's like this forage is really a test too of your mental capabilities. Like you're not gonna have as much sleep. You're not gonna have as much food. They're gonna feed you, but it's just not as much as usual. And during the forage, you're also doing like your you're doing a lot of stuff. Like you're doing obstacle courses and all that stuff. But once you're done with the forage, those 3 nights, every single night that you train every single time you train, it's going to be at night. So during the day, you're going to be pulling security all day, like just on your weapon. Like, honestly, we were talking a lot, but we got smoked too. So like the drill sergeants would just randomly come by and throw grenades at you, and like dummy grenades, not real grenades. So, they'll throw grenades, and then whatever grenade it is, like if it's gas, you're like gas, 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 and everyone has to put on their gas mask and stuff like that. So yeah, you're doing this, you're rucking, and then the last night is a bunch of like obstacles. Oh, you also have Nick at night, the first night. The first 24 hours of the forage, get through that. You have to get through the first 24 hours of the forage. And that's, like I said, it's going to be your Nick at night. And that's where you're low crawling and they're like firing weapons above you. And you just low crawl through sand and it hurts, but it's okay. So once you made it through the forage, they're going to send you to your soldier ceremony. Your soldier ceremony is when you receive your little U.S. Army patch. If you have rank, you get to wear your rank and you get to wear your beret now because you're a soldier. You did it. You did all the qualifications that you need to finish basic training. So that's a great feeling. And if you're one of the people who didn't pass their PT test, because like I said, you take the PT test before the forage, then you will participate in the forage. But when it comes time for the soldier ceremony, they're going to move you out of the way. Like they're going to pull you to the side and you're just going to be watching everybody get their beret and get their pad. And then after the forage, you have a week of like out processing. So you're going to go to CIF and return all that gear. You're going to do a lot of cleaning. You don't get to rest after the forage. I'm going to let you know that right now. Like we got back from the forage and we were up. That last night you're not going to get any sleep at all. And so I didn't even know how many hours without sleep. And then they just had to sit in there cleaning weapons. It sucked. And we also got smoked. So every single time that somebody was caught sleeping, the drill sergeant would make us run to like our cattle gate and then run back. And we just got done with the forge. Everyone was sleeping. So it was like you would be sitting for 4 minutes and then they're like, so trainee Stevens wants to sleep. All right, to the cattle gate. And you're like, running to the cattle gate. There's so many stories I want to say, but I got to keep this video short. Anyway, so yeah, and then you're prepping for graduation, and man, that's like one of the best feelings. This is like super vague. So yeah, that's it. So after that, you have your family day is on. So your family day is Wednesday, and your graduation day is Thursday. And so graduation comes around, and depending on how you're getting to your AIT, or if you're split ops, you're going home, or if you're really that's not the reason. Then depends on like if your family can sign you out or not, and like the location to where your next destination is. So I came to Fort Gordon. It's only an hour and a half, it's like an hour and a half away from Fort Jackson. So my husband was able to take me. So we signed out from the company. He took me, and we had a weekend pass. If you're going to Fort Gordon, get a weekend pass. Don't forget about that. That was really rough, but if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will answer them.